Hey folks, Dr. Gerstmar from Aspire Natural Health. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you happen to be watching or listening to this, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I had an experience this morning with my younger child, which I thought, on reflection, I was thinking about and realized how much it applies to all of us. Now, we're at a place, we're lucky enough, the young kids are being able to start going back to school. My daughter is able to go to school right now 2 days a week, which has been working fantastically well for our household and our sanity. She's happier, we're happier, everything is working well for us. But as we were getting ready to go to school this morning, there was very much a case of overwhelm, a little bit of a freak out. I haven't done anything. I've got so many things to do. Basically, I'm totally paralyzed. Now, it's frustrating for us as parents to have to deal with that because we just want to say, can you please just go get ready for school, get dressed, get your stuff together, and I can take you. And older kids are often able to do that, but for the younger ones, they're not there yet. And so at first I was frustrated, like we all are, took a couple of deep breaths. A, helped her, but then B, started reflecting on how very common this is. I don't know about you, but one of the wonderful things about having kids, one of the challenging but wonderful things about having kids is how much of a mirror they are. How much of a mirror they are. It's easy to get frustrated and kind of condemn some of their behavior, but often when we reflect, we see that behavior and those tendencies are still within us as adults. So I got to thinking about overwhelm and how often it happens to me and how often it happens to all of us. We have something, a goal that we want to achieve. Maybe it's just getting out the door and going where we want to go, or maybe it's more significant. Maybe it's recovering our health from digestive issues or autoimmunity, or maybe it's any other goal that we have in our life. And, we're here, right? And our goal is over here. And there can be a lot of distance, a long ways between where we are right now and where we want to go. It can feel very overwhelming to think about getting from here to here, right? So much so that often, like my beautiful, lovely, fantastic daughter, we can just throw up our hands and kind of have a freak out and not end up getting anywhere, staying stuck at the starting line, never getting going. So what do we need to do? It's very simple, but it requires us to take a deep breath and focus for a minute. So if there's, in this case, it was like 10 things that needed to happen to get out the door. Get dressed, brush your teeth, get your backpack, put your shoes on, etc., 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 right? Individually, each of these things is simple and straightforward, but when you have all of them sitting in front of you, it can feel very overwhelming. And that is the same case whenever we want to reach one of our goals. The individual steps may not be that big of a deal, but the entirety of it can feel overwhelming and paralyzing. So just like I did with my daughter, we each need to do for ourselves. We need to break down what needs to happen to get us from where we are to where we want to go into those individual pieces, then pick one to get started on and just focus on working that single piece. So that's why we have the Aspire method, the 10 steps, the 10 pieces that people often need to cover, some more than others, but we want to make sure that we cover to move people from sick to healthy to thriving. If we focus on all 10 all at once, it can be, I've seen it in people's faces, this feeling of overwhelm, which is why we pick one. We either start at the beginning or we pick the one that is most relevant to what that person has going on, and we simply focus on that step first. Just like my daughter, when we said, okay, forget about all the stuff that needs to be done right now. Let's just pick one thing to work on, and even better, I will come upstairs and I will help you, hold your hand and help you through the process of getting the one thing done. And then we can go, yay, we got our shoes on, right? We can move on to the second piece, the third piece, the fourth piece. And what felt completely overwhelming, like she was unable to do it, suddenly became no problem. Bing, bing, bing. We started knocking off things to do. And before we know it, we were done and ready to go. Now, unfortunately, recovering our health from digestive issues and autoimmunity isn't necessarily that easy, that simple, or that quick, but there is a process and a plan that we can do that can move us in that direction, and more often than not can get us where we want to go. So the things to keep in mind here, the takeaway from today's piece here, is simply that when something feels overwhelming, when something is too overwhelming, let's take a deep breath. Let's step back from it for a second and think about what needs to happen to get us from where we are to where we want to go. Having done that, then we can say, okay, where am I going to start? And there are two ways to pick where you're going to start. The first one is pick something easy. Pick something easy, right? That way we get it done and we start to build a sense of accomplishment. The other is pick something that is most important. So, for example, when you want to go to school, you got to have clothes on, right? All the rest is great. You can pack your backpack, you can brush your teeth, you can have your breakfast, but if you don't have any clothes on, you're probably going to have a problem when you walk out the door, right? So the second way, one is pick something easy, two is pick something important. And that way we can knock off a big chunk of what we need to do on the way to our goals. Now, this is all pretty simple and straightforward, and you may be nodding your head. The challenge here, right, is that when we're presented with something that feels overwhelming, it tends to engage our emotional fight or flight stress response and shut down our logical brain. So while it sounds all nice and obvious, we can get hijacked by our fight or flight reaction, lose kind of our logical thinking, and then just end up in that freaked out and stuck place, which is why taking a few deep breaths, temporarily, even for a minute or two, removing ourselves from that situation so we can calm that fight or flight reaction, we can re-engage our logical brain, and we can go, okay, right, when something is too overwhelming, the first step is to break it down into manageable chunks, pick one and work on that. Then we can work on the next and work on the next and work on the next and gain progress and momentum. And before we know it, we're on the road. We're moving towards our goals. All right, folks, that is it for me today. When faced with an overwhelming situation, break it down and work on those pieces. Listen, if you're suffering with digestive issues or autoimmunity and you're at the starting line, you're feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, the last thing you want to do is be your own doctor and try to figure out all these steps on your own. What's going on? What do I need to do about it? What should I do? I invite you, come check us out and let's have a chat. All you need to do is go to aspirenaturalhealth.com. That's aspirenaturalhealth.com. Check out the way that we do things. Does it resonate with you? If it does, you have two options. The first, if you want to find out more about what we do, click on the button that says Ask About Price and Availability. That gives you a lot of the details of what we do. You can check it out and you can see, is that something that sounds like you want to pursue it? Is that something that you'd like to check out? The second, if you read our stuff, you've listened to me, you've read our stuff, and you know you need help and you are ready and raring to go right now, the second button that you can press is simply Get Help. Get help or apply for help, right? Just click that button. We'll guide you through a process. And what will happen is we'll have a conversation. We are definitely not right for everyone. We're really looking to help people who are suffering with digestive issues and autoimmunity and take them from sick to healthy to thriving. And so we'll have a chat, a conversation. We'll simply see if we are the right people to help you. If we are, we'll get started and we will help transform your life. If we're not, that is okay. Again, we are not right for everyone. And at least 25% of the people that come to us interested in what we do, we actually turn away because we are not confident that we can help them reach their goals, or we're just not a right fit to work together. And we'll see if we can help them find someone else who is a better fit. You have absolutely nothing to lose. So please go to the website Aspire, as in ASPIRE, aspirenaturalhealth.com, and click on one of two buttons. The first, Ask About Price and Availability. The second, Apply for Help. All right, folks, that is it for me today. Until next time, take care.